All right, guys, how we doing? So I'm back with another video. In this one, I'll be going over my picks for the games tomorrow, week one Sunday, NFL. Can't wait, super pumped. I'm just gonna pretty much go through all the games, kind of just explain my thought process behind the games, why I'm picking each team to win, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just get straight into it here. So 2-0 so far. Picked the Chiefs and Eagles to win their games against the Ravens and Packers. Both teams won. So I'm off to a nice 2-0 start for my pick'em leagues this year. I made an article about these two games. I think my plan moving forward is going to be to make an article kind of breaking down every Thursday and the occasional Saturday games, or if there's ever any games, taking place on a, non-standard NFL day, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I know there's a couple Saturday games late in the year, so I'll probably do articles for those. But for most games, I'm going to predict them in my weekly videos I plan on making, going over my picks. So anyway, nice 2-0 start. Hopefully I can keep it up. First game here, we got the Steelers and the Falcons. So I'm going to be picking the Falcons in this one. A big part of me kind of wants to pick the Steelers, though. Could definitely see the Steelers upsetting the Falcons, but this is, how do I describe this? This is just kind of the game the Steelers and Mike Tomlin typically win when not a lot of people are picking them. Week one, weird things can happen, upsets happen a lot, but I'm just going to go with the Falcons here. They're the better team. Kirk Cousins, obviously, quarterback now, week one, new offense. Hopefully, Kyle Pitts gets utilized because he's on one of my fantasy teams. I think Kirk Cousins and the offense are kind of going to have a up and down day. I think they'll score around 20 points. I think the Steelers defense could have a pretty solid day. I definitely, the way I see this one playing out is kind of a sluggish Falcons offense, but they'll have their spots throughout the game. I think the Steelers offense is going to have a rough one. Russell Wilson, I'm pretty sure he got announced he's not playing today, so Justin Fields looks like he's going to get the start, which I kind of think they're interchangeable. Fields might even be better. He probably is, actually. Steelers offense, I think it's going to have a rough one. I guess it could be an Arthur Smith revenge game, but I'm just going to pick the Falcons in this one. I think Raheem Morris is going to have that defense ready to play. They're going to give the Steelers offense a tough time, but I think the Steelers defense is also going to give the Falcons a tough time. I would not at all be surprised if the Steelers win this one, but I'm just going to go with the safe pick and the Falcons here. Next game, we get Bills and Cardinals. So obviously, you can see here, 94% of people are picking the Bills. Poor Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Bills. They're at home. They're the better team, even though they lost a lot of key guys, especially receivers. Matt Milano's injured. They get a banged up defense, but they're still the better team. Week one at home. Got the Cardinals, who I think could be a sleeper team this year. I think they're going to be a lot better than last year. Full season of Kyler Murray. Knock on wood this year. Hopefully. Love Kyler, pretty good quarterback. Really enjoy his play style. I could see I it would definitely be an upset if they go into Buffalo and win, but it wouldn't completely, I wouldn't be completely shocked. I think it's semi-realistic that they could pull off the upset. I think the Bills offense is going to have a good day, although Gannon will probably have the Cardinals defense ready to play. He's a good defensive coordinator. I don't think he gets as much credit as he should. The Sean McDermott, I think he'll also have his defense ready to play. Bills always start off hot. I think I feel pretty comfortable that they're going to win this game. Moving on, we got Titans and Bears. So I am picking the Bears in this one, but I am going back and forth. Obviously, as you can see here, most people are picking the Bears. I think the Bears should win this game. I think they are the better team. They're at home. Obviously, new offense with Caleb Williams running the show. Shane Waldron taking over as OC from Luke Getsy. Then defense, I talked about it in my team tiers video I made, but Matty Eberflus, big fan of how he ran that defense the back half of the year. I think the Bears defense could be a legit tank this year. Titans, though, a lot of people are sleeping on the Titans. I think I only predicted they're going to get 5 wins, but I will not be surprised if they get up to 8 wins. They got Levis, who I think, again, he's obviously unproven, but he did really good last year, put up some good games, good numbers. The offensive line is still kind of question mark though, but they got Ridley, they got actually Hopkins is questionable to play. I think he's an MCL tear, if I remember right. But so he might, even if he does play, he might be kind of just a decoy, might not have an effective game as he normally does. Tajay Spears, big fan of him. Pollard's okay. Brian Callahan, I really like Brian Callahan. Again, I talked about this in my tiers video, but Brian Callahan did not call the plays in Cincy and got hired as the head coach for the Titans. But that has been a trend that's worked out in the past. You get Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings. He's worked out really well, especially offensively. The Vikings have always had a really good offense his 2 years there. And Mike McDaniel, obviously that's another big example in Miami. He did not call the plays in San Francisco. Obviously Kyle Shanahan did, and obviously he has very much worked out for the Dolphins. I think the Titans, I think this is a back and forth game. I think this is a defensive game. I don't think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this one. Kind of see this as a 2016, 2017, 23-17, around that range. I would not at all be surprised if the Sorry, I just got a text here. I'm reading it. Would not at all be surprised if the Titans win this game, though. Would not at all be surprised, but I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. Next up, 3% picking my team. That's painful to see. Should I say I'm going with the Titans? Sorry, I'm looking at my text at the same time I'm talking. If I say I'm going with the Titans, I'm going with the Bears. Sorry. So this one, much this pains me to do, I'm gonna have to pick my team to lose here. The Patriots. Oh boy, do not have very high hopes in this one. Although it does look like T. Higgins isn't gonna play. Tyler Boyd, that's actually going back to this game. He's on the Titans too. The Titans got a lot of good receivers. They are gonna be. Oh, also defensively, the Titans gonna be good this year too. Sleeper team in the Titans here. But the Bengals, they lost Boyd. Higgins is doubtful to play. Chase might not play because his contract holdout. So yeah, at least we got that going for us. But we had Brissett in there with our absolute dumpster fire of an offensive line. It looked god awful the preseason. I think defensively we could actually have a decent day, but offensively, I think this might be a rough one for us. Do not have too much. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope we win by 100 tomorrow, but I'm going to have to just go with the Bengals in this one, unfortunately for me. Texans and Colts here. So I'm surprised 88% of people are picking the Texans. I think this is close to a coin flip game, honestly. Would not at all be surprised if the Colts win this one. Colts gave the Texans trouble last year. They beat them, pretty what's the word? They didn't dominate them the first meeting last year, but pretty comfortably. I guess that's a decent word for it. Beat them the first time, then the second time, obviously week 18, that was whoever won the division. They're in the playoffs. There's the Goodson drop. The Colts played, they very well could have beaten in that game, especially if Goodson had caught that pass to get the first down. I think the Texans are definitely better on paper. Obviously, they get Stroud, Diggs, Collins. They're just absolutely looted. Tank Dell. I like the Joe Mixon signing. I think D'Amico Ryan's going to have his defense ready to play. The Colts are another sleeper team. They're a trap team for a lot of teams, except obviously the Colts, they were pretty good last year, so I think teams are not going to be sleeping on them when they're preparing for them this year. Would not at all be surprised if the Colts win this one, but I think the Texans are just the better team. I'm going to go with them tomorrow. Jags, Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins in this one. I think the Jaguars are not as bad as people are saying. Yes, they completely collapsed and fell off a cliff the back half of last year, but I still think they're going to be good this year. I think I have them at 9-8. I think they'll win around anywhere from 8 to 10 games. I think they could win. The Dolphins, they're just the better team. Especially well, they're at home, but obviously the Jags are a Florida team, so it's not like they have to travel far. But I guess it still helps the Dolphins at home with the fans and being in their own stadium and the sideline advantage they have with the sun and the shade, things like that. Um, yeah, Mike McDaniel has his team ready to play week one. Dolphins, they're just the better team. I think the Jags defense could have a half decent day with Ryan Nielsen. Really like him. Jags offense, I think, could also have a decent day, but I think the Dolphins are just the better team by a fairly good margin. I think they're going to take this one tomorrow. Saints Panthers, a lot of people picking the Saints, 91% here. I feel pretty good with the Saints. So Panthers kind of a tough one though. New offense. Obviously, you get Dave Canales in there, so they're kind of hard to prepare for. You don't know what you're preparing for really. But Dennis Allen, obviously, good defensive coach. Saints still get a good defense, even though they've kind of been stuck in mediocrity the last couple of years. Saints offensive line's a big question mark. Gio Everett, another good defensive coordinator. I think he could get good amount of pressure on Derek Carr. That could be a game changer. But I think the Saints defense is going to be able to contain the Panthers pretty well. Saints offense will be good enough to put up around 20-ish. I think this is 2013-ish type of game. I feel pretty comfortable saying the Saints going to win. Oh boy, this game has given me headaches. I have gone back and forth on these two teams. This is such a hard one for me. The Vikings should win this game. They're the better team on paper. They really should win the game. Also, we get Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones. What a quarterback matchup this is going to be. But they should have flexed this game to prime time just for that. But the Vikings should win this game. They're the better team. They get a better offense. Their defense is better. Giants lost Wink Martindale. Daniel Jones, not a big Daniel Jones guy. The Vikings defense under Brian Flores, they're kind of just pain to prepare for. They kind of got figured out as the year, towards the end of the year last year, but a lot of blitzes, a lot of disguise coverages. I think if they get pressure on Daniel Jones, which again, the Giants offensive line last year was a complete dumpster fire. It probably was even worse than ours, the Patriots, I mean, which is very hard to do. But I think it's definitely a question mark this year. It's not going to be, at least I don't think, as bad as last year. It should be much better, I would imagine. Yeah, but if they get pressure on Daniel Jones, the Vikings do. I think that could be a big problem for the Giants. Obviously, they lost Saquon. That's a huge loss. He went off last night. I played him in 2 fantasy leagues, so projected to win in both of them somehow still, but that didn't feel good. Getting 3 touchdowns, even though my parlay hit because of him. So thanks to the $20 Saquon. But Sam Darnold, I think, could actually have a decent year with the Vikings offense. So he just needs to limit his turnovers. I think Kevin O'Connell, he's a really good, friendly quarterback offense. I think he could have a good year under Kevin O'Connell's offense, especially having Jefferson and Addison, Hawkinson when he gets back. I think he's out tomorrow, but when he gets back, they get a stacked offense. I think Daniel Jones, just Brian Flores being a heavy blitz defensive coordinator, disguise coverages, that's just a disaster for Daniel Jones. Vikings are the better team. Originally, I had the Vikings and I switched to the Giants. Even though the Vikings should win this game, my gut is kind of telling me Giants. I don't know why. I'm just kind of feeling the Giants to win this game. I'm not going to base too much off of 2 years ago when the playoff game, the Vikings beat them in the regular season and the Giants beat them in the wild card. I'm not going to base too much off that game. But part of my gut is saying the Giants are going to win. And so I'm going to be really mad at myself because I'm switching my pick to the Vikings. If the Giants win this game, I'm going to be so mad at myself because I've had them picked for a couple days now. So I'm switching to the Vikings. I think this is going to be a defensive game, very sloppy, ugly football game. I think this has 2016 score written all over it. A lot of field goals in this one. I'm going to pick the Vikings. Next, we get Chargers and Raiders. I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. Could see the Raiders winning. Wouldn't surprise me at all. The Raiders defense, I think, is going to be really good this year. It was really good last year, and they just improved this year. They added Christian Wilkins. That's going to be a nasty combo, him and Max Crosby on that defensive line. That's going to be absolutely insane. Patrick Graham, really good defensive coordinator. Really like him, super underrated. But I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. They're at home. Obviously, you get Jim Harbaugh in there. I think they'll probably split on the year. Week 1, I'm just going to give the Chargers the win at home. I think the Chargers offense could have a good day, even though they don't have a lot of receivers. That's the big talk around them this offseason. I think the Chargers offense could have a good day. I think sorry, I'm getting another text here. I think sorry, reading my text. Anyway, I think Chargers offense could have a good day here. I think the Chargers defense is going to be able to contain the Raiders offense very well. And I think the Raiders offense is going to put up a decent amount of points, probably I would say around the 17-20-ish range. I think the Chargers could put up around 20 to 23-ish points. Yeah, I think Herbert could have a good day. The Chargers offense could have a good day. Could see the Raiders putting up some good points, maybe forcing a turnover, changing the game, but I just don't think. I just think the Chargers are in a better position to win this game tomorrow against the Raiders. I'm gonna go with them. I just think they'll be able to contain Minshew more than the Raiders will be able to contain Herbert. Moving on, we get Seahawks Broncos here. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Would not at all be surprised if the Broncos win this game. You can't really prepare for the Broncos. Obviously, Bo Nix, new offense, Sean Payton, week 1. That alone right there has upset written all over it. Seahawks are, I think, a sleeper team this year. I think Mike McDonald's going to have that defense playing really well this year. Their offense is going to be, I think, fairly efficient. Maybe not as good, probably not as good as it was 2 years ago, Gino's first full year starting. I think it could be I think it could be efficient enough to have them be a scrappy team contending for a wild card spot. But I think it's hard to read this game for me. I could see the Broncos having a good day offensively, but at the same time, I think, and I'm going to predict that the Seahawks defense is going to mostly shut down this Broncos offense, and they're going to struggle to score. I think they're going to score around 10 to 13-ish points, but I would not be surprised if they scored around 20, maybe even more. I think their Seahawks defense is going to be able to shut them down most of the game. My guts tell me a really good defensive game for the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks offense is going to be able to move the ball enough. They'll be able to put up a good amount of points. I feel pretty comfortable saying they're going to win this one. Browns and Cowboys. So I'm surprised almost 70% of people are picking the Cowboys. I'm picking the Browns in this one. I feel pretty good about this pick. Let me see what the spread on this game. I think Cleveland is favored, which actually this game, when I'm going back and forth, and I'm pretty sure the latest spread I saw, the Vikings were favored. Yeah, they're favored, at least on the app I'm using, Flip. They're favored by half a point. So this is pretty much a pick'em game. Even Vegas is kind of back and forth on this one. Let me see what the spread for this game is. Let's see. So yeah, Cleveland's favored by 2. I remember when this game first got announced, I think Dallas was favored, I want to say by 1.5. So now it's Cleveland 2. So obviously that's a pretty significant point spread difference. I feel good with the Browns in this one. At home, week 1, you get Jim Schwartz in that not his offense, his defense, I mean. I think they're in a really good game. Cowboys offense lost some pieces. Their running back room is talking about a question mark. They get Zeke at running back 1, who he's 29, so he's getting up there in age. He's obviously lost a step, even though I really liked him with the Patriots last year. Obviously, they lost Pollard. I just think the Browns defense is going to have a good day today or tomorrow. I think the Cowboys offense is still good enough. They kind of were clicking as the year went on with McCarthy calling the plays. I think they're good enough to score around 17 to 20 points. Browns offense, though, obviously the Cowboys lost Dan Quinn. They replaced Mike Zimmer. So that's kind of a question how Zimmer is going to run the Cowboys defense. Stefanski, really like him as a play caller, even though he tends to go pass heavy at times. Deshaun Watson, obviously, he's a question mark. He's been very disappointing with the Browns, even when he's healthy for the most part. They they win with him, but he does not play good. It's not in spite of him, but there's usually not winning because of him. Um, yeah, I think the Browns could have a pretty. I think they'll have a mixed day offensively. I think them and their defense kind of containing the Cowboys is going to be enough for them to score around 24-ish. I think this is 24-17, 24-20 type of game, but I feel pretty good with the Browns in this one. My gut is telling me kind of a bad offensive day for the Cowboys. I think the Browns, from the most part, are going to be able to contain the Cowboys defense. Moving on, this game, we got Commanders and Bucks. I am going with the Bucks, but this is part of me almost picked the Commanders in this game. This has upset written all over it. Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury. That is going to be a good combo this year. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury likes a spread style college air raid offense, getting his quarterback on the move. Obviously, they hired him in the Cardinals pretty much specifically to suit Kyler Murray's play style. Jaden Daniels seems to have a pretty similar style to Kyler Murray, maybe a bit more of a passer. I honestly don't watch college football that much, but Jaden Daniels seems to have a pretty similar play style to Kyler. So I think the Cliff Kingsbury hire fits him really well. Defensively, Dan Quinn's going to have that defense ready to play, but they got a lot of holes to fill defensively, I think. I think the Bucks offense could have a good day. But even though Todd Bowles, he usually is his defense ready to play, game plans really well. You don't really know what you're game planning for. With new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new system. It's kind of hard to tell. I also could see a scenario where the Commanders offense, it just has a miserable day, and Todd Bowles and the Bucks defense just kind of shut them down. But I think the Commanders offensively are going to have a sneaky day. My gut is telling me I feel like the Commanders are going to get out to an early, maybe not an early lead, but they're going to be neck and neck with the Bucks, surprise people, and it's going to be like, are the Bucks really going to lose this game? Then the Bucks going to pull away lead. I think they're going to have a good day offensively. Washington has a lot of questions on defense, a lot of question marks rather. But this is a hard one to predict. I would not be surprised if the Commanders win, but feel fairly confident picking the Bucks in this one. Next, we rematch the wild card game, Lions and Rams. 90% are picking the Lions. A lot of these games, very high percentages catered to one team. Not a lot of 50-50 games. So at least this pick'em league I'm in. But I'm going to go with the Lions too. I think the Lions are just the better team. They're at home, week 1, Sunday Night Football. They're going to want to probably pissed off at how they lost the NFC Championship game last year. They blew it. Should have been in the Super Bowl. Who knows what would have happened? They probably would have lost, but who knows what would have happened. They got to the Super Bowl, but they're going to want to avenge their loss. Again, just come out probably point angry, pissed off. You could say the same thing for the Rams, but the Rams didn't really blow it. It was just like the Lions did. It was just a back and forth game. The Rams did kind of get screwed by a couple bad calls, especially one. I want to say it was a holding call that was missed on Puka that would have given the Rams a first down, put them in very good position to win the game there. But whatever. Anyway, the Lions played really well. They deserved that game too. Credit to them, they went out and won it. The Rams, let me get rid of that. The Rams, I talked about it in my tier video. I had them in the playoffs. I think they had them at 11-6, either 10-7 or 11-6. I think 11-6. One of the two, I'm pretty sure. Defensively, I think the Rams to start the season are going to struggle a bit. Losing Raheem Morris, really solid defensive coordinator with the Rams. Obviously, losing Aaron Donald, when you lose one of the best defensive players of all time, that's obviously an adjustment. It's going to be a problem, most likely. I think the Lions offense could have a really good and efficient day. I think the Lions are going to score anywhere from the mid to upper 20s. Rams offense, though, I think could also have a pretty solid day. Even the Lions did improve defensively. Aaron Glenn's an okay defensive coordinator. He got better as the year went on. I They did add some pieces defensively. I just think the Lions offense is going to be too much for the Rams defense to keep up with, and the Lions defense will be able to stop the Rams offense enough. I think this will be a game where the Lions kind of control most of it. The Rams stick around, but I just think the Lions, I feel pretty comfortable saying they're going to put up enough points to win this one. I see this as a 28, 17-ish type of game around there. Feel pretty good, the Lions. And then the last game here, we got Jets and Niners Monday night in San Francisco. I am picking the Niners. Part of me almost picked the Jets, but Trent Williams is back. I had the Niners even without Trent Williams out, but him being back makes me feel better about this pick. Defensively, I think the 49ers defensively, I think the Jets could have a good day against the Niners. I think they could get pressure on Purdy, cause some issues there. Caffrey, questionable to play. He said he wants to play, but he's kind of nursing an injury. I think they were just being super extra cautious with him. Obviously, he's kind of been injury prone in the past. Knock on wood. Hopefully he's not. He's been pretty healthy with the 49ers, though, thankfully. Again, knock on wood. Hopefully that continues. I think they could have a good day defensively, the Jets. I think the Niners could kind of a sluggish game offensively. That's kind of what my gut is telling me, but I think they're going to be able to put around 20 to 24 on the board. But where I think the Niners win this game is I think their defense is going to have a good game. This is not an ideal scenario for Aaron Rodgers to come back, who obviously he played 4 snaps last year, so he basically didn't play any football last year, and he hasn't played in a game since obviously last year, week 1, he played 4 snaps. So, pretty much 2 years before Rodgers has played an actual football game. Obviously, he's been practicing, but you can't, simulate an actual NFL game without playing in it, pretty much. I think the 49ers defense is going to have a really good game. I think the Jets are kind of going to have a rough offensive game. I think they're only going to put up between 10 and 17 type. 10 and 17, maybe 10 to 20 points. I think I had a final score of 24 to 20 in the Niners' favor. That's why I have 44 is the total points here for my tiebreaker. I may change that. I'll have to think about it a bit. But I think the Niners going to get pressure on Rodgers a lot, sack him. Rodgers might have a couple inaccurate passes. Maybe we'll throw a couple picks. He might look awful. Then everyone's going to overreact, say he's washed, even though he's not. And then they'll probably bounce back. I think I had the Jets losing this game, my full season predictions, and winning, I think 6 or 7, I think 6 games straight after that. They have a pretty favorable schedule. Pretty favorable schedule for the Jets. But I just think I could see a scenario where the Jets offense does have a good game. 49ers are banged up. And then today, obviously the Aiyuk situation got solved with the contract holdout, but Kyle Shanahan said he would be surprised if Aiyuk gets normal workload. So the 49ers are banged up. They kind of have Super Bowl vibes, Super Bowl hangover vibes written all over them with the injuries, all the drama in the offseason, which kind of concerns me because I do have them as the 1 seed in my full season prediction. I don't have them getting to the Super Bowl, but I do have them as the 1 seed in my full season predictions. But yeah, I just think if the Jets win this game, I think it's going to be because their defense balls out, forces good field position for the offense. Rodgers is going to have to really not be rusty in this one, I think, for the Jets to have a chance. If this was in New York, I would probably still pick the 49ers, but I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably still pick the Niners. I think the Jets would have more of a chance. Probability-wise, I would probably say I'm 70% to 30%. For 70% the Niners win, 30% the Jets win. In my thought process right now about this game. Yeah. I feel pretty comfortable with the 49ers. I think the Jets offense is going to have a rough showing. Niners defense is going to look good. But who knows? Who knows? It's week one. A lot of weird things happen. Maybe Rodgers has no rust somehow. There's going to be someone to do that. Aaron Rodgers is one of them, one of the guys. But yeah, I think the Niners win this one. Again, I said 24-13, 24-17, 24-20. I feel pretty comfortable saying they're going to win the game regardless of the score. Yeah, I think I got all these games. Let me double check here. Anything I miss? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I feel fairly confident with most of my picks. Just go through really quick. Feel fairly confident with this game, this game, this game. I would say 60-40% win probability. Not too confident with the Bears. Oh boy, this game, our defense is going to have to ball out, give our offense good field position. We're going to need a lot to bounce our way if we want a chance. Unfortunately, feel good with the Bengals winning this game. Feel okay with the Texans winning this one. Feel good with the Dolphins. Feel good with the Saints. This game, I literally would put a win probability of probably 55-45, maybe in 51-49. I'm not confident at all. I changed my pick back and forth. Again, going to be mad at the Giants win, so now I changed the Vikings. Feel good with this game. This game, obviously, the Cowboys definitely could win this game. But I feel pretty good with this game. Think the Browns defense is going to have a good showing. Their offense will be good enough to win the game. I feel good with this game. Feel good with this game. And again, as I was just talking about, I feel good with this game. So yeah, those are my week one picks. I plan on making video probably Tuesday, sometime Tuesday. I'll record a video just going over my thoughts about all the week one games, recapping it, all that good stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and it's a great day of football tomorrow. Hopefully I'm wrong about the Pats. We can somehow miraculously beat the Bengals, but regardless, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take it easy. Have a good one, and yeah, go football. Football's back.